Hey everybody, it's been a minute since I've done a video, but I figured I would do one now because I had an interesting idea. You see, ever since Game Theory did their big FNAF timeline, everyone's been giving their 2 cents on, the order of things. And, I've been following a lot of those and read some of the books myself, and I realized that there is an angle that everyone seems to be missing. And it's really one that comes up, I believe, in FNAF AR. You see, everyone's going off of dates and stuff given in the older games, but FNAF AR seems to imply that the older games aren't reliable. Because what if, I'm sure you've seen, was one of the emails, it talks about them getting an independent game creator to make games that are intentionally overdone and misleading. So what if those original games are what we've been playing? That could throw the entire continuity, up in the air. Because if the whole point of the games themselves is to provide misinformation, then it could easily be falsely pointing toward toward Afton as the big bad, and it could be someone else entirely. I just don't think enough people have considered this, because it really is a good possibility, and it sounds cheesy, but it would explain a lot of, some of what seems to be retcons or inconsistencies. It's because it's designed that way. We're not seeing the true story. Which makes me go on to another theory. Because people have been going on about the set photos from the movie and stuff, and noticing that it looks different, doesn't quite match any of the games or anything. It's kind of somewhere in between all of them. And I think they've already said that they're not exactly doing the story from any one of the games. So what if, just follow me on this, what if the movie we're getting is the real story? That would be a pretty deep and amazing cut. Not just a movie rehashing the lore from the games, but something kind of resetting it entirely, telling the true story. Because if the games we're playing are the ones, in universe that are supposed to be, passing the information off badly to make it look ridiculous and unbelievable, then it wouldn't make sense for them to actually name the person that was responsible for the bad stuff to begin with. They would be probably more tempted to just pick a scapegoat. Which makes me wonder, though, going down, this is one of those things, it is a rabbit hole, because going down those lines is like, okay, then who would the real bad guy be? And really, at that point, the only other person that would be in a position of power in the company, if any of the names are to be trusted, would be Henry Emily. And think about it. He commissions a bunch of games to intentionally, basically make a character assassination on the person he ousted from the company. I mean, it would make a lot of sense, wouldn't it? It's just one of those thoughts that would keep going through my head. It's like, wait, how much of this information can we really trust? Because what if it is supposed to be intentionally misleading? Sorry, I know it's a little rambling, but it's just one of those ideas that really gets the wheels turning, because it could explain actually a lot more. Because, the books would be a big explanation for that. Because a lot of the stuff in the book seems to mirror stuff that happens in the game, but the names are different and the situations are different. So what if those situations in the books are the actual story, while the ones that fall more in line with the game are still, stories to tie in with those fictionalized games that were created? Hey, now, and what's the divergent point? Is there a point where we can start to trust the games? Is it FNAF AR onwards? Or is that, and the producer still involved in making sure that it tells the narrative they want to tell. I just thought I would put this out there because, like I said, I don't think this one I've really seen people talk about, and it seems to be kind of getting glossed over. It's like people are just using that to say that, you know, some version of the games exist in universe. That's why, like in Security Breach, you have characters from, you know, all the games kind of thing. When some of them shouldn't be there because they're based on the games. I'm like, okay. But what if the games we were playing before that are those games that are in universe? It really kind of, you know, is a bit of a mind trip when you start thinking of it that way. Because then it is like what's true and what's false. Or what if, now here's another way this could really tie in. What if the main gameplay of those games is kind of the exaggeration, but when you get to the glitch, you know, stuff that does like the mini games it shows you, that's the hints at the true story. But I still think, though, that if they are intentionally trying to mislead, it would either have to be that they're putting the blame on someone else, maybe even creating someone completely fictional, or that they're being misleading about the motivations. Because, you know, it does make it add the layer of, you know, of unbelievability if you start throwing in things like remnant and child souls being attached to the animatronics. What the real story is just a guy in a mascot suit deciding to go to a bunch of locations and commit atrocities. And they're trying to just cover that up. That would be interesting. And then, you know, if you get around to the Security Breach, maybe at that point, you know, their stories start coming back to haunt them quite literally. You know, it's one of those things that's all really exists, you know, in a realm of decent possibility, I would say. And now, I don't claim to be an expert on this stuff. Like I said, I just follow a lot of the theories and stuff like that. And I just noticed that's one of those points that they'll talk about, but they won't really delve into, is the possibility that, you know, the games could be, you know, the unreliable, basically propaganda for the Fazbear Entertainment. Because you have to wonder what would be going on to where saying that the animatronics come to life tonight and, you know, do these things is the better story from a corporate angle. Because, yeah, I think that could be to cover up if, you know, say one of the founders was really just a bad guy. And so they create this supernatural sci-fi story, you know, that skirts believability to try and make it all sound ridiculous, you know, and to create explanations for these things. Just a thought. I know I kind of rambled, but I just wanted to throw this one out there. I know some people may not like it. Some people might really dig it because it is just, yeah, like I've said, one of those things that once you start thinking about it along those lines, some things really fit a lot better. If it's a game that's not meant to be telling a reliable narrative. I know that sounds also like an easy out for the creator of the series, but then again, you might have added that, you know, bit of detail in for that purpose because he wanted a way to kind of restart everything. I was going to say, I think this has a real possibility of being the case. You know, and it's, you know, just a far-flung theory that maybe the movie will be showing the true story, but I'd say it's a good possibility. And I'd say the only thing I think that could really make this, like, theory, like, completely invalid is if they decide to release, you know, one of those in-universe games to show them, you know, because, like, the arcade games aren't that, because the arcade games wouldn't be made by a little indie developer. They're clearly alluding to something akin to the original games. So, yeah, I'll wrap this up because I've already rambled for 10 minutes about, one little bit of flavor text, but it could potentially, put all of the, alleged lore in a new light. There may not be a reliable timeline that we have because everything is based off of these games that are an unreliable narrator. Well, take care, everyone. Let me know your thoughts below, comments, links, share, whatever, responses, and let me know if you'd like to see some more of my weird theories about stuff. And I'll try not to ramble so much next time, but no promises. All right, catch you later.